Hey everybody, welcome back to the Painted Brain YouTube channel. My name is Savannah Thomas and I'm here to teach you everything you need to know about minority mental health. If that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date with all of Painted Brain's most recent content. Today we're going to be talking about generational trauma. What is it and why does it matter to minority communities? So most people have a general idea of what trauma is. The American Psychological Association defines trauma as, quote, an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Trauma can vary from person to person, but it's not uncommon to see trauma affecting people psychologically, affecting their relationships and the way they interact with others. It can also be so severe that it affects their physical health as well. Generational trauma, on the other hand, or it's sometimes referenced as transgenerational trauma or intergenerational trauma, is a little different. Instead of trauma affecting a person from a singular event or a series of events, it instead suggests that trauma can be something that's passed down from a person's parents to themselves. A study conducted at the University of Zurich showed that mice exhibiting depressive-like behaviors were able to later on transfer those behaviors to their offspring via RNA in their sperm. So that means that the mice offspring that had never been exposed to trauma were still exhibiting the same depressive-like symptoms as their parents. And this is a behavior trait that researchers saw extended to up to 3 generations of mice. If the same is true for humans, humans also are able to pass on biologically depressive-like symptoms and behaviors to their offspring who have maybe never been exposed to trauma. So why is behavior like this so relevant and prevalent in minority communities today? While anyone is susceptible to inheriting depressive-like behaviors or symptoms from their parents, inheriting that generational trauma, it's especially communities who have been subjected to racial discrimination, displacement, mass genocide, and enslavement that are most susceptible to inheriting this generational trauma. That means communities like the Latinx community, African American community, the Asian American community, and LGBT community most notably are going to be communities that are most susceptible to inheriting generational trauma. And on a massive scale, that means that generational trauma is more likely to be widespread in comparison to white or Caucasian counterparts. Again, that's not to say that generational trauma can't be passed down in the white community either, but it's more likely that it's a case-by-case basis versus an entire race that is being subjected to generational trauma. So for someone like me, that means because I have parents of African American or Black descent, that my grandmother who was born in the 1920s could have passed down her generational trauma she experienced to both my mother and my grandmother and even myself. All the articles that I used in order to research this topic, they're going to be listed in the description below. Feel free to check out any of the links that I've listed below and additional ones as well outside of this video in order to stay up to date with all the new research that's coming out about this phenomenon. It's fairly recent and has only really been researched in the past decade or so. Mental health is often a lot more complex and complicated than we first give it credit for. And it's really important that we keep this floor open for discussion, debate, and areas where people can feel comfortable in order to express themselves and their mental state and well-being. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Again, please feel free to do additional research about this topic. I hope this is a good starting point for you. And let me know in the comments below if this video has been helpful to you or has taught you something that you didn't know before. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.